record. Right, so as you come in, let me know you're in. That'd be amazing. And I was gonna hold my phone like that, balancing everything. Because I'm recording it on Zoom as well. Recording on Zoom because then I can then email it out to people. So just say hi as you come in. What's really helpful is, I mean, it's quite a small group because it's a brand new Facebook group. But if you then comment and say hi, then it will let everybody know that I am live. It's like how it all works, apparently. I don't know if that's right or whatever, but I give people a chance to catch on. So how are you? Monday morning. Do you like Mondays? Do you don't like Mondays? I do like Mondays. I must say, because I choose to. So that's a little bit of a because you can get into a big pattern of not enjoying Mondays, of actually really thinking you can actually convince yourself that a day is cursed or whatever. I'll try and keep myself. I'm currently feeding a baby as well. So you can actually convince yourself that, oh, Mondays, oh, it's going to be shit. So that's one pattern that we all create. Like I said at the beginning, if you're on replay, I know a lot of people have said to me this morning, I'm doing replay, I'll catch you later. Still say hi to me, play along if you like, if you're on replay. If you're live, then comment as much as you can. It's not always going to show me the comments, so hopefully it will. But comment as much as you can. Tell me what's coming up for you, and just say hi and things like that. That'd be really cool, just to keep the interaction. That means that other people will know, and that this will get to lots of other people. So, right, what are we here for? Toxic pattern busting. I was speaking to my friend Lucy a few days ago, and she was very excited by the name of it, and because it was quite a bam 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 name. But what does it really mean? Toxic pattern busting. So what is it? What made you want to sign up? Is it because you know that you've got a repeating pattern in your life that you just kind of want to get rid of? Is it that you thought it was just, oh, it sounds interesting? Because the first day, little baby here, the first day, what we're doing is we're going to really truly dig deep into finding a pattern. Okay, now with my experience of like patterns and people's behaviors and stuff, it's always, we think it's one thing and it's possibly another. So what is a pattern? Really basically, from like, maths 101, a pattern is just something that is predictable and repeatable, isn't it? It's whether it's a clothing pattern, whether it's a number pattern, whatever it might be, it is something that you can rely on, something that is predictable, something that repeats and repeats and repeats. Now this is great if it's working for you. Now, if you have success on repeat, if you find a pattern in life to work for you, fantastic. The problem is when, as you're probably aware, is when the patterns don't work for you. So when you're doing something like, often people recognize patterns by what they're getting out of life, what's actually happening to them, and they're like, oh, I keep picking. So other people's behaviors that you notice. So do you keep attracting the wrong people? Do you keep bringing something in that you don't like? Do you keep losing your job when it's kind of in the responsibility of someone else? That's one element of it. The big element of it, and what we really need to tune into massively, is our behavior and what we do that creates a pattern that we don't really want to keep in, right? So this is when we have to get quite honest and quite real. It's like, okay, so do you end up having arguments? Do you find yourself getting frustrated at something? Do you find yourself always skint at the end of the month? Do you find yourself, if you look at having a baby crying at 10 a.m. Oh, little one. Do Do you find yourself getting easily annoyed? Do you find yourself going for the biscuits at a certain time? Do you? So I really, so for example, my big one was always reactions. I did a post about it yesterday. It was massive reactions to situations. Now reactions are just a kind of when someone has just tickled your trigger and then you go boom, and some people's reactions are bigger than others. But what are you creating in your life because of that? So are you then creating people to walk out on you? Are you creating people to shout back at you? Are you creating sort of loneliness because of a reaction? So just wanting to give you some ideas on actually seeing what patterns you've got. Are you what are you doing on repeat? What are you actually receiving in life on repeat? If you could share any with me, that would be amazing. So what patterns do you find that you are allowing to happen? Like, are people always mean to you? If people are mean to you, then it's an allowing. You're allowing something to happen to you. Do you find that like you're always giving out money and people are always expecting things of you? Do you things like this? This is what it's, I would say this is where like some of the beautiful work comes from, when we actually notice things that are on repeat that might be quite little. Like, are we always giving? Are we always, do people always phone us up, but no one's ever there for us? And we always phone us up, oh yeah, can you help me? But then when we need help, nobody's there. Do you keep being responsible for everything? Do you keep finding that you don't have you don't get to, self-care is just doesn't happen? No one allows you to have the time. Like I said before, do you find that you are getting angry at other people a lot? Do you find that you attract crappy relationships? Do you find that you're always running out of money? If you would want to share, I don't know whether I might not be getting comments. It happens like that sometimes, but these are the things that when we want to actually completely transform our life, we start here. Now, in 3 days, I would like, and I really do, I totally have pretty much total faith that we can actually crack a pattern that you want to crack in these next 3 days. So I would invite you to focus on one pattern. Is it a reaction that you are doing? Is it so basically, is it something that you are doing that you notice? Is it a behavior that you have got, or is it other people's behavior that you're attracting in? They're quite simple ones. Or did you come here just knowing something? If you could share, that would be really helpful. If you feel comfortable sharing, that'd be really helpful. Right. And so I can give you a few minutes. If you're on replay, you can pause here if you need to. But a big one is another big pattern would be like eating too many cakes or whatever, that you feel too many cakes. There's no such thing as too many cakes, but if you feel there are too many cakes, a pattern, for example, could be you feel bad about yourself. So there's somebody said something to you, or something has happened. If you could hear me, something has happened and you feel bad about yourself. When you feel bad about yourself, you go to the chocolate drawer, and when you go to the chocolate drawer, you eat all the chocolate. And then when you've eaten all the chocolate, you then have a moment of utter self-loathing. So the pattern would be, you feel bad, this happens, this happens, this happens, and you end up feeling bad about yourself. Okay, so I was discussing it in my group the other day, actually. So what part of that pattern, where does it start? What is happening? What is the catalyst to that pattern? That's the first thing we need to do, and we'll work this out tomorrow. But what I'd like you to try and do is really find this pattern that you do, this loop, this repeating that you do, or that is done to you, but that ends up with you not feeling great. So the ultimate, basically, the start of that pattern would be, somebody said something that hurt your feelings, you end up pretty much in self-loathing. So you then go and solidify that person's feelings and you make it yours. So it can happen as well. Say you wake up, had a bit of a bad dream. The pattern could be, if you wake up, say you wake up a bit meh, you then immediately go and snipe at somebody else. They go, oh, I didn't deserve that. And then you've got this bad feeling, this vibe that goes around. Is that something that happens to you? Do you, if you, so it could be with money, do you find that it's always that you are always out of money, no matter what happens, even if you have some saved, you have some money, oh, do you know what, I haven't spent on money this month, I haven't done that. Something will always happen where somebody needs something off you, something breaks. Have you got a pattern of never having excess of money, never having like a nice safety limit? This is what it's noticing, something that keeps on happening that might not be as obvious as you think. Okay, so when you have done that, and if you need a bit of time to do that, come back to this bit later. So what are we at? We're at 12 minutes past 10. So come back to this bit later. So pause this or come back to 12 minutes past 10. Because at this point, whether it's what someone else is doing to us or what we notice in ourselves, we at this point need to take 100% responsibility for it. Like total responsibility for every single thing that we are seeing in our life. And now, so for some of you, you're like, well, yeah, I know that. And some of you are like, yeah, but what about with the people who are being dickheads to me? Well, you take responsibility for everything, not for other people's behavior, but for your experience of other people. Yeah. So the really important thing to do with unlocking patterns and stories, beliefs and everything is to completely own it first. This is one of the keys, I would say, that doesn't happen, is that we get to forgive other people. Well, then we're still bearing responsibility on them, aren't we? If we go, well, we have to forgive other people, then we are still kind of in the victim mentality. And when we're in any part, even the deepest part is in the victim of our own life, it's going to be very, very tricky to heal that. That's all I would say. So we need to take total responsibility for all of it, for the experience of all of it. So anybody who's worked with me before in my courses and stuff will be quite aware of how strongly I feel about responsibility. So whatever this pattern is, it's before tomorrow, before we come to day 2, because tomorrow we're going to go deep on this pattern. Today is about finding this repeating pattern, just acknowledging it, finding it, okay? Finding what you're doing or what you're attracting and allowing. It's that simple, but get very honest with it. Get so honest with it and take responsibility, take ownership of it. And when I say take responsibility, one of the analogies I've used a lot is like, say you in a car crash. Well, say somebody rear ends you. So you were minding your own business, right? And then someone comes and whacks you up the ass in the car. I mean, right. You're like, well, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. That's somebody else. So all of a sudden you're a victim of a car crash. You're a victim of a car. Someone comes and does that to you, does it to your car. And you are then in a state of, well, that's not fair. You see, the only way you can feel better about that car crash, that little smash, is somebody else's responsibility. Somebody else fixes it for you. Okay. So yeah, fair enough. It wasn't your fault, but what did you do? What was your responsibility in that? Now, very basically, your responsibility for somebody rear-ending you is you actually just showed up. You were just in that moment, in that time, you chose to leave the house or you chose to leave wherever you were to get in your car to be there at a certain time. That was yours. That's all yours. So you took, I was there. That's my response. I was there. How were you feeling in those moments? What were you thinking before it happened? Yeah. Take responsibility for all the thoughts, all the feelings, and just being there. No, it wasn't your fault. No one's going to blame you. But is that really what it's about? Is it really about, well, who can we blame for something bad happening in my life so it's not mine? Well, I would say, what can I take responsibility for that's shit in my life that I can then get rid of? Because if it's somebody else's, it's not mine to get rid of. So that's why responsibility for everything is so important, because then we can actually do something with it. While you don't own it, it's not yours, is it? Therefore, if it's not yours, you can't get rid of it. So that's why it's important. So whether or not, whatever has happened to you, take responsibility for absolutely anything you can and your part in that experience in life. Even if you think, well, when I had a car accident, actually, I was 32 weeks pregnant, and I was like, I had my little convertible, which only had 4 seats. Now I've just had a baby, right? And I've got 2 other children. So that is 4. But if I want anybody extra in my car, not going to happen. So I was there, like, getting a bit annoyed, as I was 32 weeks pregnant. I was like, oh, I've got to go shopping, got a room in the car. Oh God, I need to get rid of this car, and I don't want to have to sell it. Literally, these are my words about 7 minutes before I actually crashed the car. It was me, as an insurance wise, my fault. I crashed the car. It was I just lost concentration for a second, but basically I was there thinking, oh, I hate selling cars. I hate advertising. Oh, I have to take pictures. What a pain in the ass. I need to sell this car, and yet I don't want to have to sell it. What happens 7 minutes later? Out of nowhere, like, and it wasn't a big crash. It was in a queue of traffic. Out of nowhere, I go and bump somebody's car, and I have no idea how it happened. Crazy, right? So I'm just saying that sometimes just we're put in positions because we've asked for guidance, and the universe has said, oh, that's the quickest and easiest way for her not to have to not to have to sell her car. There we go, let's have a little accident where nobody gets hurt and she gets what she wants. Who knows? What I'm saying is I took responsibility for my words as well in those points. I took responsibility for my actions and my words in those moments. I didn't go and chastise myself. I just took responsibility for it. And there's a difference between hitting yourself with a flail and, oh my God, I'm such a terrible person, beat me up a bit more. So yeah, do you know what? I take responsibility for that. Taking responsibility when if somebody isn't very nice to you. Okay, so what are you supposed to do in that? Well, I keep attracting people being mean to me. Okay, so how can you take responsibility? Again, you're taking responsibility for showing up. You're taking responsibility for actually for in some ways calling it in, maybe say, well, actually, there's a part of me I need to heal. They're saying things to me. If people are being mean to you, the only reason you're going to think they're being mean to you, you're right, Zikizu, the only reason you're going to think people are being mean to you is if it actually you believe what they're saying. Okay, nobody can hurt your feelings unless they're already hurt. Nobody can say something to you that hurts you unless you already believe it, right? So for example, right, I have no issue about how I look. I don't care. I don't have a negative vibration, because I used to be anorexic and very, very obsessed with how I look. So I've done a lot of work on that. So if someone says to me, God, you're not shifting the baby weight, are you? I'm like, whatever, that's a weird thing to say. Right, what a peculiar thing to say, strange person, right? And then I'd probably say, yeah, but I'm pretty, and I'm not even sure how I would react to that. I think, God, that's weird and slightly rude, but it wouldn't bother me. Now another person might be absolutely, they'd want to hide, run away, hands in their face, and run home crying, never to want to step foot outside again until they've lost 3 stone. Okay, so that person who said something mean, or said something, or just said something, made a comment out of their head, is either something awful or something that is forgettable, depending on you. So that's why we can take responsibility for someone who says something mean, because actually that was their stuff, and I only make it my stuff if it's already mine. And if it is already mine, then I take responsibility for it. Does that make sense? So I hope I've rinsed this one to the ends of taking responsibility. So finding what you do or what you attract and what is created because of it, and then taking total responsibility for it without judgment. All right. So like I say, not beating yourself up, not having a go at yourself, but taking responsibility for it and accepting that. Okay, that part of you. So, oh my God, yeah, I keep allowing people to be mean to me. What a silly cow I am. Right? Not gonna, that is then something you need. Well, no, you shift the words, shift how you're viewing it, because it's not a terrible thing. It's just a thing. So it's like saying, yeah, God, my goodness, I'm allowing people to speak to me like that. Whoa, that's a big boom. That's a big wow. Wow. Without judgment. So acceptance without judgment, take responsibility for it, but find it first. I hope that's made it super clear. So before tomorrow we're going to dig deeper. So before tomorrow, find the pattern in your life. Even if you can put it into little, this happens and this always happens, even if you can actually write the pattern out. So the starting thing, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. And what's the end? How does it end? If it's a toxic pattern that you want to crack, it's not going to be with something that ends with sunshine and rainbows, is it? It's going to end with somebody feeling crap, something bad happening, or a negative reaction. Positive patterns are great. So this is a toxic pattern busting. So it's a pattern that actually always ends pretty shit. That's what we're looking for. Okay. And the fact that you're here would say to me, either you're massively interested or there's parts of your life that keep doing this. So literally write out the steps of this pattern, what happens, how it starts, how it finishes, and every part of it, take responsibility for your parts in it. Take total responsibility and accept the crap out of yourself with all of that. And then tomorrow, we're actually going to dig deeper behind the pattern. We're going to actually figure out, okay, so this is what I'm doing. Now we're going to say, okay, so why? Why am I doing this? So day 2 is actually a little bit more a dig deeper into this. Don't do that yet. However, like most people who are in my world or have been on a healing journey, they know this stuff. I'm asking for you to take it right back to basics right now. So don't go forward. Don't try and find your stories. Don't try and do anything like that. What we're going to do is just write the pattern, take responsibility for each step and accept each step and your part in it. And then tomorrow we're going to go a little bit further. So I have enjoyed this very much. Keep writing, comment. If you can comment and let me know what's coming up for you tomorrow, it will help me, because, or even email me if you don't want it. If you want it private, just message me. And then what I can do tomorrow is I can use some stories and patterns that have come up, and I can actually live coach through those patterns. So if you can write the pattern out for me, either message me if you don't want it public, and I won't give names, or message me on here. I will then follow through a pattern, and we can then work through it to find the stories together tomorrow. So yeah, as much information as you can give me is the better, because then I can really be helpful. And like I say, message me and I can actually help you with your, I don't understand this bit, how do I take, if there's a part, so there's a pattern that's happening and I can't, that's not mine. I will not take responsibility. Message me. I'm here from now until Friday to work through this together. So message me, use me right now, message me and say, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? Totally. For now until Friday, till the, actually from now until Monday, I'm helping you with your pattern. So use me as if you paid me to be your coach and your mentor. Use me to help figure out this pattern. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm offering for this week, is for you to actually use me as your mentor. Okay. So any issues with this whatsoever, in the group, direct message me personally and we will sort this out. I hope it's been helpful. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Zeke says, you say hi. Zeke says hi. And and I will see you tomorrow at 10. Like I say, contact me if you need anything. And for those of you in Business Bee Brunch, I will see you in about 50 minutes. So with so much love from me to you, have a great day and go pattern finding. Love ya.